Good morning and welcome to On the Record with Buddy Cianci. This morning I have with me a man who wants to be your United States Senator. He's a Republican and he's been running hard for the past couple of months. But I don't know how much money he's got. I don't know really where he stands on some of the issues. So we'll take this next 20 or 30 minutes to find out why he wants to be a U.S. Senator, who he is, and does he really think he's got a shot at beating Sheldon Whitehouse if indeed he is the candidate? Welcome, Barry Hinckley.
Good morning, buddy.
Good morning. You want to be the Republican candidate for U.S. Senator?
I sure do. In fact, so far so good. I am the Republican candidate.
Well, there's no one running for the office, the Republican nomination that you know of. Isn't that so?
That is so. In fact, you know, I've been out there about 5 months now, and I think what we see now is that people have responded on the Republican Party side very well to my jobs message. Because what does Rhode Island really need at the end of the day? Jobs.
Jobs, I guess. Tell me, but tell us a little about your background. Who is Barry Hinckley?
I started my career here, 91, out of college in the boat business. I grew up in a maritime family of boat builders.
The Hinckley boat. Hinckley
may have
boats.
heard of Hinckley boats.
Yeah.
You know, a great way to grow up from a lifestyle point of view, a tough way to grow up from a living point of view. I watched my father struggle as a manufacturer here in America. I got out of that business actually in the mid-90s and got into computers. I ended up starting my own software company in 1999 called Bullhorn. Bullhorn, which is either the largest or tied for the largest in the world in employment software. So I know a lot about not only creating jobs, because I created hundreds at that company, but also the software that puts people to work. So I know both sides of it.
So you started a software company that is one of the large. How many people did you have working for you?
When I left, we had about 140.
Okay, and you make software products for employment?
For employment agencies, yeah.
Employment agencies.
In 42 countries around the world. So quite a big success story, and I started with nothing.
So you started with nothing, and then you sold the company?
I didn't. I retired from the company after 11 years. I was on the road a lot. I spent 2009 traveling between Newport and Boston and London, and I decided it was time for a change of direction, spend a little more time with the family, and I wanted to be here in Rhode Island full time. So but you still own the company? I still own all my shares in the company.
I see. How much of the company do you own?
Well, it's a typical entrepreneurial story, and if you break it down and you study, you know, any business plan that ends up successful, the entrepreneur that starts with no money generally ends up with about 5 or 6% of the company, and that's exactly what I own.
So, but that's enough to sustain you, and you can live happily ever after?
When that company gets bought someday, or there's a liquidity event where I'm able to sell my shares, I will have enough to probably pay off my mortgage and put my kids through college.
Okay. All right, so how do you support yourself?
Right now on savings.
Okay. All right, just want to know, because you're going to have to report all that stuff to begin with.
Oh, I do. I already did.
All right, now the next question. Why do you want to run for the United States Senate?
It's a great question. When I left Bullhorn about a year and a half ago, as a successful entrepreneur, an entrepreneur really is just a sassy name for a job creator, if you think about it. You know, as a successful entrepreneur, it's like a woman I was talking to today equated it to having the second child. It's easier the second time usually. So starting a next business is always easier when you've been successful once. You're a successful horse that's won a race. It's easier to attract capital. It's easier to get people to work for you, and you also know where the bumps in the road are. So it's much easier the second time. So generally, a successful entrepreneur goes and does the next company. In my case, it would probably be software. Well, you know, I thought a lot about it. I looked at my kids. I looked at the status of the nation today and the status of Rhode Island, which is desperate when you have a 19% unemployment rate. And I also listen. You know, if you want to start a business, you have to listen to your surroundings. And what I hear and what I see is a president, Barack Obama, that is shouting from the rooftops that if you start and run a business in America, I am going to make it more expensive and more difficult for you.
In what way?
Obamacare. I mean, you talk to every business owner, they are petrified about what's coming down the pipe because they're already seeing the cost increases. You know, just to give you an idea, I spend between 10 and 15 grand a year per employee for health care, and that's going up. My family premium went up $350 a month. You know, that is absorbed by the business. Not in my case now, I pay it, but when I was running the business. So these things, these messages, you got to read the tea leaves a little bit, right? So you have a senator, a congressional delegation, White House, Cianci, for example, very anti-business in their track record. So I saw these signs. We have anti-business leaders saying that we want to get more business money and pump it through the government. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to start another business in this environment. So they basically took a job creator off the grid. And I said, I'm going to start another type of business. It's called Hinckley for Senate. and I'm going to start that business, and I'm going to put them out of business. So that's what got me to this.
All right, so Sheldon Whitehouse is quite the fundraiser. This past several months, he's really been working, and he's raised, I think, $780,000 net, and he's having another fundraiser out in Nevada. I noticed that Senator Reid is having for him, not our Senator Reid, but the big Senator Reid, the one who's the majority leader. And that's a $10,000 ticket price to go to that. And you get a chance to go to some fancy spa and matriculate.
Save your 10 grand, buddy.
Well, okay, but now, how many people, how much money have you raised? Because money is the key. Let's face it,
money
is the key, doesn't it?
And let's